In 1955, right before the end of high school, a young person and their friends chose to have lunch by a cold lake in Michigan to celebrate. The celebrations were lively and full of young people's energy until one of the guests took a dare that turned things in an unexpected direction. Even though they didn't want to, because the lake was cold, the person finally gave in and dove into the icy water. The shock of the cold was only the beginning. As the swim went on, they got a cramp that made it impossible for them to stay afloat. As they floated helplessly, they tried to signal for help, but their friends on a faraway raft thought they were just having fun. The cold pulled the person deeper into a dark, silent pit. They got stuck in the weeds at the bottom of the lake and had to face the fact that they were going to die soon. On the edge of life and death, an amazing change happened that was similar to the life-changing events that Dolores Cannon writes about in her work. The person's approaching death caused a deep spiritual awakening like the ones Cannon talked about. Out of the blue, there was a change from a desperate fight for life to a calm acceptance and a separation from the physical world. In the middle of the lake, the person had what Cannon might call an awakening to the fact that the soul lives on after death. This event would show that existence has many levels and that life and death are just different ways of being. It's realizing that the problems, fears and pains we experience on earth are only temporary stops on our soul's eternal trip. As soon as the person got out of this dangerous position, their view of life changed forever. Cannon taught that this experience of almost dying would be a turning point that would reveal the soul's lessons and goals and make people think again about what it means to truly live. In this light, the person's scary swim wasn't a close call with death. It was a dive into the depths of their own mind that showed them how the soul lives on and how the lessons of the world are carefully planned. Now picture this, going from the deep, dark depths to a place that is so warm and clear, it's overwhelming. It sounds like something from Dolores' travels, in which she looks into past lives and the journey of the soul. The person who was gasping for air is now in a position where their body is not an obstacle. Take a moment to think about what this change means on a bigger level. It reminds us of the quick changes that happen in life and helps us understand things in new ways. With their sudden clarity, they see a brightness that should blind them, but it only makes them feel better. This idea of light that guides instead of scares is very interesting. Dolores Cannon talked about these kinds of things and said that she thought souls are drawn to the light that looks like who they really are. But how often do we let our inner light guide us in our daily lives? As they get closer to this light, they feel like they're coming home to something that is both very familiar and strangely new. That feeling we get when something in our lives is so deeply right that it can't be explained. This isn't just about the afterlife. It's about how we look for relationships and meaning in our lives. Cannon writes a lot about the soul's journey back to the source, and this person's story fits with that theme. This story is about more than just one person's personal struggle. It touches on the desire we all have to understand, find peace, and finally return to ourselves. The facts we find along the way are more important than the questions we ask. We can think about our own paths as we think about this trip from darkness to light and from fear to love. How well do we pay attention to the sounds inside our heads that lead us through our own tunnels? Finally, how ready are we to walk in the light of our own truths? It makes us think about our own changes, our own times of clarity, and what it really means to come home. Think about floating in a huge circular space that feels like the middle of a cosmic coliseum. Each part of this sphere shows a different time period, world, and personality, from lives on Earth to lives in space, and from male to female experiences. Together, they show the whole journey of a soul. There is a deep, all-knowing light that can be seen in this huge auditorium of life. It is said that this light, which can't be seen but is deeply felt, is having a conversation with the many scenes around it in a way that goes beyond words. As each life scene is looked at more closely, it becomes clearer. showing not only what was said and done, but also how everyone's feelings and thoughts are connected. Think about this. Nothing is kept secret in these reflections. Everyone's thoughts and feelings are just as clear as one's own, showing how linked everything is. How often do we stop to think about how our words and deeds affect the people around us? As the soul moves through this world, it goes back to many past lives and learns about how everything in time and space is connected. Even though this cosmic review seems to have gone on for a very long time, in terrestrial time, it was only minutes. It's an idea that makes us think about what time really is. Could our deepest moments really go beyond the tick of a clock? All of a sudden, the huge space shrinks back down into a tunnel, leading the soul to a blinding light that knows its name and is filled with pure love. This personal recognition by the light goes beyond personality and creates a welcome for everyone, with a chorus of many other lights saying, "Welcome home." And at this very moment, the soul merges with the infinite, feeling a unity and understanding that words can't describe. This understanding is so perfect that it answers every question in the universe. What does know everything mean? Can humans even begin to understand how deep universal information goes? The experience connects to a deep truth that Dolores Cannon explores in her writing, that we are all connected parts of a bigger whole, and that we all carry a spark of the divine or universal awareness. Let's think about our own trip as we read this story. Are we just on a ride through life, or are we part of a big complicated plan that's leading to our own moment of cosmic understanding and reunion? How does this point of view change how we see life, what we do, and how we relate to others? Think about a situation in which someone is enveloped in a bright, all-knowing light, a cosmic awareness that is both wise and funny in different ways. In this area, the light interacts with the person, bringing to light the small things that used to cause them stress and worry. The light helps people see things in a new way by making them laugh and giving them a gentle push. Life on Earth, with all its problems, is not as serious and lasting as it seems. It's like a big play where everyone dresses up in a different outfit and plays a different role based on their culture, race, religion, or personal choices. From this point of view, reality as we know it is challenged because it sees earthly life as a stage where souls play their parts before returning to their true, unified form. The light shows that while everyone looks different, there is one truth that unites all beings. They all come from the same holy source. Distinctions that seem to separate people fall away, showing a deep unity. Finally, think about what this point of view means. What roles have we decided to play if life really is a complicated play for the soul's growth? Are the problems and issues we face just parts of a bigger story, chances to learn and grow in deep ways? The light shares a deep truth. To fully experience life in all of its aspects, one must consciously lower their vibrational frequency. Think about this idea of lowering vibrations for reincarnation. This idea is interesting because it suggests that our life on Earth, with all of its problems and benefits, is a chosen adventure, a deliberate dive into a denser world for the purpose of growth and connection. Imagine being on the verge of enlightenment and enjoying the seamless unity of existence. Suddenly, you hear the clear word, "You have to go back." This moment questions the core of what we believe by suggesting a change from an all-encompassing unity to the separate, limited experience of life. In this vivid picture, the person fights back against going back to a world that they see as less important than the large expanse of light. But the light's insistence, which could be a sign of a higher knowledge or the soul's deeper commitments, wins out over personal resistance. When you hear the word back, it sets off an unwelcome descent from the realms of infinite knowledge to the limited human form. This contrast makes me think deeply about the point of our journey here on Earth. If the soul's normal state is one of endless happiness, unity, and understanding, then why are we thrown into the maze of physical life with all of its struggles, pain, and separations? Dolores Cannon's work gives us a different point of view by saying that life on Earth is a special place for soul growth, a chance to experience, learn and change in ways that aren't possible in the ethereal oneness of the light. Life can be thought of as a carefully written script, with each part carrying lessons and each scene leading to greater spiritual growth. From this point of view, the person's strong objection to going back to the light shows how different our divine nature is from our human lives. Think about the idea that each of us is playing a carefully chosen part in a very complicated cosmic play. In what ways does this new point of view change how we see and deal with life's challenges? Is the pain of being stuffed back into the body a sign of the soul's resistance, or is it part of a bigger plan, a deliberate journey into the physical to gain knowledge, compassion, and a stronger sense of how everything is connected? Within the dense fog of doubt and the deep depths of the unknown, there is a story that is rarely told, because people in this world value hard evidence over soft truth. Think about a man who was reborn from the depths of hopelessness and silence. His journey is a testament to the transcendental experiences that people have been afraid to name for almost 30 years. This story isn't just about how someone managed to stay alive. It's also a discovery that makes us question everything we think we know about life. In the quiet of his solitude, he kept a mysterious secret about the stars. It was a memory so clear and deep that it went beyond time and space and became a part of him. The memory of the light was a feeling that went beyond what humans can understand. It was an experience in which the idea of I disappeared into a joyful unity, an ecstatic connection with the infinite. Then picture how freeing and incredibly relieving it is when confirmation comes out of the shadows of doubt. A book, which seems like an ordinary thing, turns out to be the key to decades of hidden truths. Life After Death by Dolores Cannon wasn't just a collection of stories. For our quiet witness, it was a reflection of his own hidden reality and a lighthouse of truth in a sea of denial. This story makes us think about what reality is, the huge landscapes of the mind, and the complicated dance between life and death. What is seen and what is unseen, what is known and what is unknown. As we read this story of light, silence and ultimate awakening, we can't help but wonder, what other facts are dormant inside us, waiting for a way to be proven? Life is like a play, and the plot is written by an unseen hand. There is a story of a person who travels between worlds and is stuck between the temporary and the permanent. This person, a tiny dot in the vast universe, knows a truth so deep and life-changing that it breaks the fragile structures of everyday reality. It's not just a discovery when you realize who you are and what you're here for. It's like coming home, realizing that life, with all its problems and difficulties, is just a temporary stage. A short stay in the big picture of consciousness can be both freeing and scary. I'm not crazy, the person whispers into the dark night. It's a single statement of reason in a world that often seems to have no deeper meaning. The near-death experience used to be a source of inner strife and cognitive dissonance, but now it's seen as a sign of hope and the strength of the human spirit. There is a place where all acts of kindness and love are reflections of the holy light that we all come from. To spread happiness instead of sadness and love instead of hate is no longer just a personal goal. It becomes a mission for everyone. We are all part of the same beautiful tapestry made of light and love, so in the end, we are all linked. This is more than just a story. It's a call for all of us to remember our own inner light and our own path back to the source. This shows how strong the human spirit is and how much love there is in the world. As we go about our own lives, let us keep in mind that we are all on the same trip and trying to get to the same place. The light is waiting for all of us.